we're here. Hello, everybody. How you doing today? Had to get the little intro logo in there. Wanted to just try it again. See if I could get it right on the live videos as well. How we doing, everybody? What's going on, my people? Good afternoon. Good evening. How are we today? We got lucky. We got lucky. It didn't happen. It didn't happen while we were gone. While I've been working through the day. Working. It didn't happen. We didn't miss it. Thank goodness. Sing it. I don't know if I can, Sammy. I'm just not sure. It like rises in my throat, and I just think about the levels of cringe. I just think about it, and I don't think I can do it. I don't think I can do it. I don't think I have what it takes inside of me to sing it, to sing the song. I don't know. I don't think I have it in me. We'll see. We'll see. We'll see how we get going in this. We'll see how we get going in this. For reference, every time you know what? We haven't even signed him. It would be really bad. It would be really bad if I do the song and we haven't even signed him. If I start performing and we haven't even signed him. The Newcastle vaping video is absolutely killing me. It's a disgrace. He's going to Man United. I just can't. I can't. All the vaping. I'm just dying. I watched it and then just watching all these people sitting there getting mad vaping. I can't do it, man. It kills me. Oh my god. Okay. All right, we're okay. It's all good. But yes, Benjamin Sesko, obviously, oh my god, hold on. Let's see if I can pull it up on Twitter. I don't think I'll get copyrighted, but you never know. I could probably do like 2 seconds of it or something. So I don't get copyrighted or something from their videos or what have you. I don't know. I don't want to get a strike, but like, oh my god, you gotta watch this, man. It's so good. Yeah, there's a link there.
Bro, I need some midfielder boom bossos. Any news?
So no, listen. I'm gonna mute it, but I'm gonna I want to talk about some midfielders because I've been doing some research and might be kind of exciting here. All right, hold on. There's somebody just posted a link above. The Reaver93 posted a link above, but I'm just gonna pull it up and show you guys. But just look, just look. Look at the vapes, man. The video hasn't even started, and they've all got the vapes lined up. They've all got the vapes lined up. 1, 2, 3. We've hit the hat trick of vapes, man. Oh my god. I just can't. Oh man, that is stressed, man. That is stressed. Holy crap. Oh my god. That is too stressed, man. That is too stressed. You just
Bro, where does our front three rank in Prem for you?
Where does our front three rank in the Prem for me? I mean, between Cunha and Mbumo alone, it's like I would put it like I would have put them that alone 2 of the top 8. I would have put them below the top 4, below. Well, it kind of depends. Below Liverpool for sure, below City. But when you add Sesko, if you add Sesko to the mix, I think it's top 3. Maybe top 2. Who's got better? Arsenal have Saka, Gyökeres, maybe Madueke, or I don't know. I rate Arsenal's front 3, but I don't rate their left wing so much, though I do really like Madueke. But Cunha's better than Madueke. Mbeumo and Saka, I don't know. Saka, with the injuries and stuff, I'm not really sure. Gyökeres and Sesko, it's a toss-up for me at the moment. Because they've not played in the Premier League, so we'll see. Liverpool's is better. Liverpool's is better. I don't know about City. Why would City's front 3 be better? I don't really rate their front 3 that much. Hojlund.
I can't stop laughing. Here is a gift for this, ha ha ha.
Thanks, Jason. I can't either. I'm not sure about City. I'm not sure that City's is better, because I think ours is the best grouping of 3. City's got Marmoush and Hojlund. Haaland's great, obviously, but at the same time, I don't think Marmoush is better than Cunha and Mbeumo. So I don't know. I would put us in the discussion between 2nd and 4th. I think you could find us in that area, 2nd and 4th. I think Liverpool's will be the best, but I think 2nd and 4th is in there. 2nd and 4th it's in that range. 2nd and 4th, kind of depending. Yeah, Jason, thank you for the gifted memberships as well. Yeah, thank you for that. If we get Sesko, I think the front 3 is in between the 2nd and 4th in the league, probably. That's what I would say. Live stream fake. I can't. Chelsea's, I don't rate Chelsea's front 3 at all. It's just a mess of things. I don't know. It's just a mess of things. But Stuart as well, thank you for the sub. I'm just being careful. I don't like to count our chickens before they hatch. We had some nervy moments with Mbeumo, you know. When we had that whole celebration on the United View and the news came out, and then it took a long time. But no, look, I don't want to jinx it. But yes, Stuart, thank you for always being here as well, and the 10 gifteds as well. So look, obviously the new-ish kind of news is that you know, we feel strongly, right, we feel very confident that he wants us. Now, Andy Mitten said that this morning, okay, to be clear. In the video that Andy Mitten put out earlier and in his article, he made it very clear United are very confident that Sesko wants to join us, okay? So I believe that United are very confident that Benjamin Sesko wants to join us. Andy Mitten's video was great. It was good to hear from him. Yeah, I hope he does more. But he made it very clear. And Andy Mitten is, yeah, he's very good, obviously. We do know that United feel very confident that he will join us. Very confident that he only wants us. My main concern continues to be at this point in time one thing and one thing only, which is what Andy Mitten alluded to as well. And not just alluded, but specifically said it's a circumstance that could happen. It's the one concern that I've had that I've said kind of all along, which is that there is a world where Newcastle price us out or Leipzig price us out and he stays. Andy Mitten said it's possible. It is possible. We can't ignore that for the moment. I don't think it's likely. I'm like, maybe we're getting up to like 80% confident here. But there is a world where Newcastle bid higher and higher to force this on and push the fee above us. We didn't match their fee in the first place, right? There's a world where Leipzig price us out of the deal and he stays. That is a possibility. Okay. Um, I think that the likelihoods right now are more he comes to us, he stays, he goes to Newcastle in that order. Okay. That is a possibility. We can't completely say that that's not a possibility. It is a possibility. We have to accept that that might be until we see a done deal. That there is something potential in that. Okay. We just have to believe that that's the case because it is potentially the case. Not saying it's going to happen or that it's likely, but it is something that can happen. Now, the only reason I get like a little bit nervous on it, just a tiny bit nervous on it, is Ornstein not 10 minutes ago put out the news that Leipzig are looking at Harvey Elliott, is it? Did I get the name right? Is it the Liverpool guy, Elliott? Harvey Elliott to replace Xavi Simons. If Xavi Simons is sold, they could hold on to Sesko. That's been the case all summer. It's already been reported by a lot of people. So I'm not jumping the shark yet on this deal until we know that that's done. May not be relevant. It may not be anything to do with it, but just the simple factor of that it has been mentioned that it's possible he could stay, that he won't force his way out from Leipzig. I'm not going to celebrate until that point in time. That's all. I'm just gonna sit on that and say, no, for sure it's further along. The likelihood that we get Sesko now is very high. The likelihood that he stays is very low. But Newcastle's whole strategy has been to drive that price up. Has been to drive that price up. If they've not walked away, then if they've not walked away, why have they not walked away? That's my question at this point in time. I don't think they'll get him. Again, I'm like 90%. I'm like 90% that he's coming now. I'm just saying. I'm just trying to be careful. Okay, I'm just trying to be careful that on that point, because they haven't walked away. They have a higher bid than ours. Can they drive it up even further? I don't know. That's all. It's not a sure thing. Now, another couple of things that I wanted to share. Even after Fab Suite, just because there's still the Leipzig factor here, where we don't actually know the entire agreement on here, which is that if Newcastle have a higher bid, that they're not obliged to accept the United bid. And even if he wants us, that might be the case. So I'm just saying. I'm just thinking about that, okay? That's all I'm saying. I'm not trying to be a downer. I'm just trying to be careful. I'm just trying to be careful. It could be any moment that the deal is done. Now, United have been talking to Leipzig today, and I would understand as well that they've had some talks today about the Hojlund thing as well. The expectation at United is, of course, this isn't really new news. It's just the expectation is that should this Sesko deal go through now, that they will discuss with Rasmus Hojlund his future and have that conversation that has not yet happened about his future. And that if he is to go, if that they would like him to accept a move away. That conversation hasn't happened, but it is expected that would happen if the Sesko deal goes through. That's essentially the plan and the expectation as of now. They have discussed with Leipzig, again, I believe today, just to talk about Rasmus Hojlund. It's not going to be there's almost zero chance there's a deal that includes Rasmus Hojlund. But part of the whole situation will be, of course, they're going to want to see that if Red Bull are willing to take Hojlund, would like to take Hojlund, then obviously we're going to push for that on the alternative side of this in order to get a sale there. Personally, I think it would be a very good move. Personally, I believe that the £30 million price is an attractive one to Hojlund. I've also heard of multiple other clubs being interested at that price, but United have to have that conversation in order to move that along. So it's something to keep an eye out on for sure, to develop as soon as we know that we're getting Sesko for sure, for that conversation to occur, and that there may be more than just Leipzig that are interested at that price given that situation. But the conversation will have to happen. That conversation will have to happen for him to leave, and it has not happened as of yet this summer, but it is expected to, should the Sesko thing go through. I don't know what Rasmus wants. I mean, I know what he wants. He would prefer to stay at United. But the situation has always been, so far as I've heard, if push came to shove and they made it clear it was not in the plans, that he would move somewhere to get his career back on track. Now, that might be on sale for $30 million. I think it might be a loan or something else. I don't know. But I do strongly believe, from what I've heard, that we can move him on, and even that a loan would be sanctioned potentially, should there not be a purchase in there. But I think a purchase would be preferred. A loan with obligation, maybe, something like that. Sesko can score headers. Yes, he totally can. And that's one of the real positives about him. Aside from the fact that he's fast as fuck, you know. Aside from that. I did do something that I wanted to look at while we were here. So yeah, the Rasmus thing is certainly like an interesting one that now is going to come to the forefront should this go through. Like I said, though, I'm just not getting ahead of myself because I don't want to. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not getting ahead of myself because I don't want to. I want to be careful.
Will we see Zirk leave instead of Rasmus?
No, I don't think Xerxes leaving. I don't think Xerxes leaving. I don't think we'll see Xerxes going anywhere. I think Xerxes will be fine. Now, on the midfield, you don't think Vivell would risk his Man United career for a player he doesn't rate? He rates him really, really highly. There's no doubt about that. No doubt about that.
Sesko done. Hojlund and Lammens next.
I don't know about that. I don't know about Yulmand. You've sent my notifications while with the replies to that video. Oh, nice. Okay. Good. That's funny. I don't know about Yulmand. I'm not gonna lie to you. I really don't. I don't know about Yulmand, man. I'm not convinced Yulmand is the, like, I like Yulmand, but I don't think he has the pace for the Premier League. That's what I would say. I was doing some plots earlier on midfielders. I was doing some research earlier on midfielders. People aren't necessarily going to love what the conclusion I came to. So, but here, I'm just gonna say it. So, and I'll put it on the screen. And I have some numbers that I would like to talk about. Oops, wrong things. If it's Ugarte prop, I'm reporting. Here's the thing, okay? I've said before that I don't like. I'm looking at what does Ruben Amorim want, and I pulled up these numbers, and then magically, he kind of spat himself out at the top. Okay, what Ruben Amorim wants out of his midfielder is high pass percentage, safe passing, a lot of duel winning, good in the air, good in possession. Okay, like good in possession. Now, statistically, the truth is, like I said, I just plugged this in. No, it's not technical ability. That's what you want out of Ugarte. That's not what Amorim wants out of Ugarte. He wants speed, good on the ball, and a lot of anyway. When you look at purely pass completion and defensive duels 1/90, Manuel Ugarte stands out all the way up there. Now, it's actually this is just the Premier League under 25 players, okay? Now, if you look at it, it matches a lot of good midfielders by way of those things, okay? João Gomez, Yarmouk, Kamara, anyway, Andre, like these are all good players. These are all like the guys you want. Now Ugarte shows up in the same zone, which I'm telling you was an accident. But anyway, we can look at some other things. One of the things that I do find funny here. Let's see. We'll put but I was intending to show you something else. I was actually intending to show you something else. Let's say you go for hold on. Good in the air. Hold on. I needed to find that. Oh my god, Ugarte's still at the top when you put in aerial duels 1%. He's still in a good zone. Dribble success rate is one I liked to look at. Dribble success rate is one I liked to look at that I actually thought was pretty good. Okay. Well, progressive passes, because progressive passes isn't what he's being asked to do. But hold on a second. Hold on a second. This is dribble success rate. Okay. This is dribble success rate. All right, defensive duels 1/90 and dribble success rate. Now, I think this is a good one. Okay? Because this shows Ugarte's middle of the pack. Hold on, let me do the lines. Middle of the pack for dribble success rate, okay? And top of the pack for defensive duels 1, all right? Now, Kamara, I think, would be the perfect player for what it's worth, all right? Just to be clear. I think that Kamara would be Kamara. It's not intellectually dishonest. I'm not doing anything. I'm looking at stats that I believe are important for a number 6. You can get pissed off all you want that Ugarte's showing up on them. That's your problem. I'm talking about stats that look good for a number 6 in a Ruben Amorim team. Kamara shows up really well here. Ugo Chukwu, Gravenberch, Mateus Fernandes, Amadou Onana. Those are good players. Okay? So clearly we're looking at some decent numbers, all right? Clearly we're looking at some decent numbers. First touch accuracy. Look, I tried. Hold on. Progressive carries per 90. See, he's lower on that one. So I'm not cheating. I'm trying to show you. The problem is this starts to include guys who are not really midfielders when you include that number. So it throws the whole thing off. But you can see here, João Gomez, Gravenberch, Bergvall, Baliba kind of showing up in some of these positions. But the problem is that it starts to include these guys that are not really midfielders. So that's why I didn't select those. So I was trying to do like successful dribbles, but it starts to include forwards, which is kind of frustrating because that throws the whole thing off. Defensive duels 1%. Oops, Ugarte shows up high really there, even though people say he's like a low efficiency duel winner. He's actually not. He's actually one of the highest efficiency duel winners, but inconvenient. Hold on, I'm trying to find something else. Here, possessions won versus lost per 90. Oops. Ugarte showed up again. I swear to God, I just picked it. He's actually the highest rated possessions won versus losses plus minus in the entire Premier League for under 25 players. Sorry. Again, I literally just selected that while we were looking here, and he's showing up high on the stats. My bad. In fact, that actually, this is possessions won minus possessions lost. So the net is that Ugarte is one of the most net possession gainers in the Premier League. My bad. Do pass completion? We already did that. He was very high at pass completion. What's Ugarte not good at? Let's see if dribbled past is on here. Hold on. We could do progressive passes per 90. Then he shows up obviously quite low. You're going to see Adam Wharton and Elliot Anderson up here. But that's not... I didn't put that on the measure because that's not what I'm asking my player to do. That's what you want him to do. That's not what I'm talking about. He's not a good progressive passer. We already know that. That's cool. Of course. Backwards passes per 90. Apparently, João Gomez passes it backwards more. He's kind of... Kabi Mainu passes it backwards more than Ugarte. That's not going to make some people happy. Misplaced passes per 90. Oh, shit. He has, like, the lowest misplaced passes per 90, too. Uh-oh. This is getting really inconvenient, okay? This is getting really inconvenient, all right? No. I was actually not doing this to make it a point on Ugarte. What I was actually trying to do... because it's low risk. You're totally correct. What I was actually trying to do here was find a good way to measure what we would want out of the sixes. What Ruben Amorim wants out of his six. Okay. Here, I know what to do. There we go. Now Ugarte is no longer here because we're looking at under 23s. No, progressive passing is not what he wants. I'm trying to find players that he wants. What does he want? High percentage passing, and winning a lot of duels. He wants somebody who keeps the ball safe and wins a lot of duels. Okay, so this kind of shows Andre and Caicedo would be the best midfielders. Is that not correct? Is it not correct that Caicedo, Andre, Gravenberch would be the good forwards for us? Is that not correct? Those would be good forwards for us, right? So clearly we have kind of a good measure here of sort of the type of midfielder that we would want, right? So you can get mad, but like I said, Ugarte shows up well on those. That's your problem. However, if we take that, here, I'm going to do this, and then I'm going to show you what my conclusions are, okay? Now let's go to the under 25s, and let's expand it to the top 5 leagues. Now let's look who's over here. Buwadi, João Neves, Andre. So clearly, this is a good measurement because the best midfielders we could get, Buwadi and João Neves, show up really well on this measurement, right? So I think it's a good measurement. Now, what that tells me is we should sign Buwadi. I did a whole bunch of different like measures. Buwadi's the best. We can't sign him today. He's too young. We should sign Buwadi. We should sign Buwadi. That's what we should do. That's the right guy. I think Buwadi's the best option. What Plettenberg said. I don't know if I can. Hold on. I didn't. Hold on. Let me just look at that. Yeah, we have to sign him in January. If we reach agreement with Leipzig. Okay, it's nothing. It's nothing. It's meaningless. Buwadi is probably the best player. Another player we've been looking at is Frendrup. That we have looked at is Martin Frendrup. He's a good player. We've looked at Buwadi. We can't sign him today. João Neves obviously is who everybody will really like us to sign. There's more names I found in here that I really liked, but they're hard to find. I still really like João Gomez for what it's worth. I can't remember what I did to find some of these other guys. One of the problems that I ran into was that like virtually every like Chelsea own like a half of these players. I don't know how that happened, but yeah, Chelsea own like half of these players.
Nice. But why he will put Bruno there?
Well, he'll put Bruno in the 8. I remember I'm still looking at under 25, so I'm not going to have older players in this. Because I looked at like, I looked at a bunch and Chelsea own a bunch of them. But there was a few more. If I change some of these measures, hold on a second. What was I trying to look for? I was looking for, as I have duels 1 per 90. And then I had like good on, let's go back to the aerial duels percentage, okay? Because we do need a taller player in the midfield to win the balls in the air. Hold on one second. Where the hell? And then I'll go to the other one. Oh my god, I'm being stupid. All right, here we go. So when you start to go aerial duels and defensive duels 1 per 90, you know, Elliot Anderson starts to make a lot of sense too. I think he's a good player. At Forest, I've liked him. Now, I'm intrigued by this guy, Pierre Ekwa. Okay, I'm intrigued by him. He's at Sunderland. He went on loan to France, had quite a good season, and then now he's going to be back at Sunderland, and he's going to get his chance in the Premier League this season. I'd like to see what Pierre Ekwa does this season. He's somebody I want to watch because on a bunch of the measures that I had, he showed up really, really high. So I'm curious about Ekwa because he seems like a really good player. Maybe I'm pronouncing that right. I don't know. I'm trying to remember what the measure was. Let me go to the guys who are good on the ball. Progressive carries per 90, maybe it was. See, when you do this, it throws a lot because, like I said, you get a lot of forwards in there, like Wirtz and stuff that are completely different positions of players. Obviously, then you get like, you know, these are forwards, you know, so it doesn't really help us too much. You kind of have to look like over here. This guy, Mouton, also plays in France. He had some really good numbers that I looked at, which I'm curious about. That one I quite like a lot. How did I find the other ones? There was a couple other ones. But Mouton looked kind of good as well. This guy's interesting. Nzingula as well. Crazy good, apparently, on the ball, dribbles, but the guy does not pass ever. Like, never passes the ball. He's like a zero passer. I'm trying to find what I was looking for. Because it wasn't passing. maybe it was like dual success rate. Possessions won lost. Obviously, Buati shows up really well here. Mouton shows up really well here as well. There's a lot of midfielders in France, man. Like every midfielder in France looks really, really good. I know people have been mentioning Agume. He's in a bunch of these in some good positions. Hold on one second. Let me see. Yeah, if you look up here, this is good. You get Buati, Frendrup, Mouton, Andre Santos, Onana. So like you're still looking at the right types of guys. But no, like these are good players. There was one I was looking for. I found interesting. His name's Reitz. Rico Reitz. Right here at Mönchengladbach. Rico Reitz looked pretty good as well, showing up on this. Okay, Rocco Reitz, maybe it was Rocco. I don't know. Rocco Reitz. He looked good as well, and yeah. So I'm just gonna keep an eye on some young players, obviously, that we've been looking at over the course. So. Are you saying he wants two mids with the exact same profiles? No. I'm talking about what he wants from his six for the most part. I looked at Larson, and the problem I have with Larson is he doesn't carry the ball. Like, at all, from what I remember. Hold on, let me see. See, he's here. He's not a high-volume dueler or carrier, statistically. That's all I'm saying. So... I'm just looking at younger players in there. It's Reis, like him, Rice. It's German, right? So Rice. Rocco Rice. So yeah, I mean, I think there's interesting players to look at in all of this. I think there's a lot of interesting players to look at in here. Offensive duels, successful dribbles. Those are carries. Hold on, let me just find the possession one. If you want like progressive actions per 90 plus defensive duels 1 per 90, then you're getting like up here, right? Mouton, João Neves, obviously, Elliot Anderson, Kamara.
If we sell well, what's guys. Most can spend on midfield?
I don't know. I would say like maybe like I don't know. Yes, you say. I'm more a lot of these here. He's in a good spot. I'm more with this whole thing. Like looking at potential options for the future. People I'd like to keep an eye on. I know that they've looked at Buati. I know that they've looked at Baliba. I know that they've looked at Frendrup. Some of this may have nothing to do with this season. You know what I mean? It may be next year. It may be next year, obviously, for some of these guys. Obviously, for ones like Baliba, Buati, in the long term, it's probably nothing. It's probably next year. Buati, we can't even buy right now. Yeah, there's some good ones that we're looking at. We're not looking for a new midfielder because of Ugarte's progressive actions. You're just wrong. It's just funny. Like you can say it all you want, but it's just that doesn't make it true. What Amorim's prioritizing and looking for a midfielder this summer is somebody athletic who gets around, wins the ball at a high rate, covers ground, and is athletic. That's the reality. James still thinks Amorim's the same as when he was in Sporting. What evolution? He's playing the same way that he's played forever. He doesn't use deep lying playmakers. It's the same type of thing. He wants, like for example, Ederson as a player that they really liked. He's not the same as Ugarte. He's more of an attacker, which was probably going to be in Bruno's position. But like, he wants a safe six. The only problem he has with Ugarte is essentially the turnovers. He makes too many mistakes. He makes too many mistakes. Like, people told me at the end of the season that he was going to sell Ugarte. Has he? He hasn't sold him. He wasn't for sale all season. He didn't do that. He wants somebody. The only problem with Ugarte is that he's been making mistakes and turning it over a lot. His out of possession is exactly what Ruben Amorim wants. His in possession is the fact that he makes mistakes. That is causing problems. So, in general, that's the main issue. He has to cut the mistakes out. They're a problem, but he has to cut the mistakes out. If he keeps making those mistakes, then obviously he'll be sold next summer. He's got to have a good season. No doubt about that. He's got to have a good season. But yeah. He didn't make the choice on players at Sporting. I think that's the thing people don't understand as well. Ruben Amorim wasn't kicking out. Like, they were selling their best assets. They always were. Like, he sold a lot of players. They just sell players. And he didn't have that much choice in terms of buying players either. Have I seen Garnacho's Instagram post? No, I haven't. I'm not sure if I want to. Just, let's see. Okay. Stressing, isn't he? Yeah. So there's a lot of players that I think we could get that are potentially better. For sure. But what people want isn't what Ruben wants. I don't know how, it is funny because, like, we spent all summer, all year, people whining about this and that, saying progressive midfielder. There's a reason we went for 3 forwards. You understand that? There's a reason we went for 3 forwards first. There's a reason we're spending 200 million on forwards. Like, you do get that, right? If the midfield was not what he wanted profile-wise, and he felt was going to hold us back, we wouldn't have spent three players, 200 million on forwards. We wouldn't have. We would have bought maybe 2 of them and then gone to a midfielder. But we bought 3. We're getting 3. We're spending our entire budget. On forwards. So that's just the reality of it. How many weeks ago? Yeah, I'll show you. I've got the tweet pulled up. It's right here. 3 wanted, May 25th. We wanted 3 forwards. We wanted goals. We wanted 3 forwards. And the assessment from the club and Ruben Amorim was very clear. We need goals. We need more forwards. We need more attackers. That was his assessment. That was his conclusion. And that getting 3 more forwards was more important than the midfield. In his mind, moving Bruno deep solves the progression from the midfield. But we needed another person, ideally, if we can, to play similarly to Ugarte to clean up, to work, because Casemiro doesn't have the legs anymore. So it is what it is. They're building a team on this basis. If we ever switch to a 3, it wouldn't be that different anyway. We have Kobbie Mainoo, Bruno Fernandes, and we'd want a bit of a destroyer as the third midfielder. So, I don't know. There's a lot of overreaction to these types of things too. If we switch tomorrow to a 4-3-3, we would use Kobbie Mainoo, Bruno, and a destroyer. So we wouldn't need some progressor. We would need a destroyer in there. We would need somebody who defends really well and cleans up. You just need Ugarte to not lose the ball. To be fair, we'll give him a second season. He's going to have a second season in order to fix it. I think people are overstating the errors. He made the error versus West Ham, and he made the error versus Everton, but he didn't actually make all these errors that led to goals all last season, like people are pretending. But he has to snuff those out. He can't have those games. If we wanted a destroyer, couldn't we have went for Paulinho? Why, though? Like, why? I hear that, but you're talking about loans, purchases. There might have been plenty of other reasons that we didn't go to Paulinho. Too old, yeah. Too old, that's for sure. That's also a possibility. Yeah. That's definitely a potential. But yeah, that's the main thing. We need Paulinho's slow, injured, and old. Yeah, essentially that's more likely the reason why. Yeah. But again, it's like I said, the you want a guy who wins the ball a lot more than he loses it, and despite what people may think, that is Manuel Ugarte. He's had a few big mistakes recently, but the idea that he doesn't win the ball a lot, I like that. That's the part that drives me nuts. There's a lot of things you can critique Ugarte on. I know exactly what type of player he is. I know what he's not good at. He's not going to ever progress the ball well. And when you ask him to, he's going to start making mistakes. But the sudden pretense that he's bad out of possession is beyond stupid. It's just stupid. I'm sorry, it's just stupid. Like highlighting that he slipped on what was a very, very bad pitch against Everton is just that everybody was slipping and falling over on is kind of funny. He is a good duo winner though. I mean, he just is. He just is. He is like the same duo win percentage as Conte, so it's like but it's okay. He just is. He's good out of possession. It's really weird. Anyway, he was first on my list of the players that he was first on my list of the players that in this season that need to have a good season. He was first on my list of players who needed to have a good season this year or they'll be on the block next year. So I'm starting from a neutral standpoint. On him and the same on others. So this season is a season for everybody to prove it. If Ugarte doesn't have a good season, he'll be gone next summer. If De Ligt doesn't have a good season, he'll be gone next summer. If Mazraoui can't pick back up to where he started, then we'll talk about it next summer. And the same goes for quite a few others. The same goes for quite a few others. And yeah, everybody for me gets a fresh start. I mean, Joshua Zirkzee, they're all kind of in that same boat. If they haven't blown everybody away, then this season we'll see how they go. If Ugarte got injured, I think a lot of people will miss him when they see our current options without him. Well, we missed him in the EL final, but that is what it is. Is Collier going to stay in Ugarte backup? I don't know. I have no idea. Fabrizio retweeting is usually just because somebody else said something, and like Plettenberg or someone he's competing with a little bit, and wants to just get it out there. But yeah, I'm very interested in what kind of midfielders we could get in the long term. Baliba is obviously to me like a top option for the long term, but then there's Buade, Ekwa want to keep an eye on at Sunderland this year, Reis, Mouton, Anderson. There's quite a few that I'd be interested in looking at. By the way, I'm here to run the nastiest agenda on the people who don't rate Harry Maguire. I'm ready. I'm ready. You're wrong. You're so wrong. Back Big Harry. He's here to stay. He's going to be a United lifer. He's going to end his career at Manchester United. You see that report today? It's really funny. It's really funny that everybody in football, at every club, every manager, and every teammate loves Harry Maguire. And how nasty people were to him is crazy to me. Everybody loves Big Harry Maguire. I absolutely love Harry Maguire. Joined the Maguire Appreciation Club. I practically started it.
Kante comparison lol. Mudryk has Mbappe speed too.
And I think he's proved everybody wrong. He's come back. He's done exceptional. Now, listen. 4 years ago, I went on. Who's the American center back guy who streams? And he played in what's his name? He's an American. He's an ex-player. He's an American center back. He's an ex-player, and he does like streams and things like that. What is his name? He used to do like Twitch and stuff. He's on NBC and things a lot. What was his name? Jimmy Comrade. Thank you. Yes, Jimmy Comrade. Jimmy Comrade 4 years ago invited me on his show. Not Lalas. Jimmy Comrade invited me on his show because I tweeted that it even goes all the way second season that Harry Maguire was probably the best center back in the top 2 center backs in the league that season. And I fully stand by that. He was so good. And the fact that we missed him during that Europa League, now I'm not saying he's that good now. I'm not saying he's always been that good. But man, he had a hell of a season. And he has never gotten enough credit for how much he stabilized United during the rough years. He had a good 18 months that were rough, that he had a hard time in, that he was struggling in. But he's been really, really, really solid and really good for United outside that. And today, when he is fit, yeah, Shaw was good then too. When Maguire is fit, he's still going to be starting. And it's not just that, though. The fact of the matter is Maguire has an absolutely top mentality. He's a leader. He's somebody that a lot of people looked up to. And he's somebody that really, really helps in there. Yeah. I love the guy, and won us that game against Lyon. He's scoring goals up in the box. He helped us in that Europa campaign. He was getting there, doing fucking creating and helping us score goals that carried us through that Europa campaign. He's been really good, all things considered. And I'm I'm really
When
happy with him.
Casemiro and probably Bruno Fernandes leave next year, we should go all out for Wharton and Baleba.
Sure, I don't necessarily think we will go for both. I think we could. I think Balaba and Kobe Mainu is a top midfielder, top midfield pairing. Yeah, I mean, I don't know how people can say he's not a winner. He's a center back. He was exceptional for England in their routes to the finals, smashed one of the best penalties of all time in one of the highest pressure moments. He's been big in big moments, but he's a center back. What do you expect him to do? He can't do everything himself. He's been good at the highest level internationally and, in important games at club level. But yeah, Jason, I think that it'll be more likely one, and I think it's Balaba's viewed as the more likely fit at the moment. Exceptional for he absolutely was exceptional for England. What he was. He was good. He's been very, 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 very good for England. He's better in the 3 than he is in the 2, in my opinion, as well. But yeah. Anyway, he's in the leadership group as well. He's somebody really likes, and I will always back him. Now, I'm not saying he's a world-class player these days, and he should always be starting forever. But Maguire got massively, massively overhated. Massively overhated. There was never any justification or reason for that. And it's good that he's getting recognition. And it's good, to me, he's the type of veteran player you'd like to keep for a long time. Obviously, you do a new contract and all of that. That's not paying so much as he gets to a veteran player. But yeah. So I'm very happy to hear that. And I think he's going to have a big season for us. I think he's going to play a lot.
I don't mind keeping Harry Maguire as a squad player, but definitely not starting every week.
No, we need a central center back no matter. We need to buy another center back next summer. Don't get me wrong on that. That's certainly something we need to do. We need to get a center back next summer, and I'm sure that we will. There's some good ones out there. I was looking at them too. The one that Arsenal are looking at, Ugarte. He would be the right guy too. He'd be a good player if he's still available later. That's another. There you go. I just said Ugarte. Yeah, there you go. Arsenal are in for him, but he'd be the right fit as well. He'd be a very good player. Braithwaite, by the way, I don't think he's a central center back, but he shows up so well and everything we might need out of a center back still. And I wish we got him. I don't think we'll get him now, but I wish we did. I do. I still think he'd be perfect. I think he could play in the left, play in the center. I think he could do everything. But yeah, we definitely need another center back. Yeah, Zabarny looked really good too, but obviously we can't get him. He was on there. And then there's Yarek. Am I getting the name right? Yarek something, I think. I think it's Yarek something or other. Yeah, it might be Hamza. Yarek Gasiorowski. Yeah. He looks like he could be pretty good too. He gone to PSV. Fair enough. There's guys that I'm making lists that I actually want to watch through the year that I think will fit us, and I think will be guys that we will keep an eye on, and let's see what happens with them over the course of the season as well. Yeah, I don't particularly personally rate Diomande. I watched a lot of Sporting. You want to talk about mistakes? You think Ugarte makes a lot of mistakes. Diomande, I think, is unfortunately incredibly mistake prone. Like, one of the most mistake prone players I've witnessed. He makes a lot of mistakes, a lot of errors that lead to goals. He's got like good play, like he's a talented player, but he makes enormous numbers of mistakes. So I'd be pretty wary of him. Um, sec. Yeah, I was hoping we'd start to get a little more. Something here tonight because I can't stay live forever about this whole situation. I gotta show you though. I gotta show you though. I want to show you this. Hold on, because like it's these little things. I swear to God, I have not seen in a long time at United in terms of videos and things like that. Hold on. Go watch this if you can afterwards on District, because like, obviously like all the players, they went to a concert and they did all of this stuff, but like it's just call me stupid, call me naive, but it's just little moments like this. I swear to God, I've not seen stuff like this being published from like United in ages. Like everybody out to dinner doing shit like this, but in like a fun way, not like
crazy like
everybody showing up to the
six. Also
no, Martinez is not going to play as a
UV,
6.
But stayed because of your awesome content and views.
Appreciate that, Andy. Really nice to hear from you. I don't think Martinez will play as a 6 because of the lateral movement of his injuries and stuff like that will be a struggle. Even if they wanted him to, he could play as a central center back, but his height is a bit of a problem. But it's stuff like this, like that. I swear we just haven't seen it. Like all the players out doing dumb shit, laughing together, hanging out, and it's not just like pictures of them walking in and out of the restaurant in small groups of 1 to 2 with nobody actually interacting with each other and everybody on their phones. You know what I mean? Like look at everybody's clapping. Like this is the vibes, man. This is the vibes, man. We've got a team that actually like each other. You know what I'm saying? Like damn, like this is different. You know what I mean? And you got to give big credit to Ruben Amorim, because through the season, so many times I heard and said, these guys don't even like each other. And I look at it and I'm like, wait a second, they're actually friends now. I think this is actually a team of people who are friendly, who like each other, who are on the same page, who like want to spend time together, who want to interact. It's cool, man. It's super cool. I feel it means something. I really do. I really do. I really do. I think it means something, and I think it matters as to how we go about from here. Apparently, Ornstein's on Sky. Is he on Sky? Ornstein has pulled out of his. He was going to be on Sky at 10:30, and now he's not. Should I wait till like 11? By the way, yeah, I did want to mention this because people are linking stuff about like Donnarumma in Discord here. Let me try to clear my head on a few things, okay? Number one, United did make recent contact and an inquiry over Donnarumma. I did say that before, okay? That's not like, this isn't like me newly saying this. I'm just saying I'm just catching up. They did, to keep an eye on his situation. I still think, apparently there's more news coming out of France that they really don't want to have 2 keepers this year. I still think maybe we could get him on loan at the end of the window. Maybe. When you go to Manchester? Probably around Christmas. I still think we could get him maybe on loan at the end of the window. Because we're keeping abreast and a butt cheek. No, we're keeping around the situation to know what's going on it. And obviously that means we have an interest. Obviously that means, we made a loan offer to Emi Martinez. Why wouldn't we do the same for Donnarumma? We're keeping an eye on it. Now, maybe someone else will just buy him. And that makes it more difficult for us because we don't want to buy a keeper while we still have Onana and spend all this money. But I'm just keeping an eye on it. Maybe we would propose some kind of deal there before the end of the window. He's got a year left. Why would they loan him? Yeah, the question is whether anybody would buy him, Joel. So if someone's going to buy him, obviously they're not going to loan him. But they'd probably rather loan him than to... We don't need an obligation. They'd probably rather loan him, get a loan fee, and get wages covered than have him stay for nothing. You know what I'm saying? So I'm saying in the case that nobody bought him, a loan might still suit them. Similar to the situation we might end up here with Jadon Sancho. A loan fee and wages covered might be all we can do. Contract expires, fine, you still save money. So I'm looking at it in the scenario that if nobody buys him, maybe we could get him on loan. And that would allow us to negotiate with him as a free agent in January, I believe, to agree a pre-contract if we wanted to keep him. So it's just something to think about. I'm keeping an eye on that one, man. I'm keeping an eye. Yes, they want to get rid of him. Like, apparently they really want to move him. So I'm just keeping an eye on him. If Ugarte is as good as you say, James, we've got the top 2-3 attacks in the world. Well, I said in England. Surely win the league. No, because you need more time together. Either way. No matter what we have, we need more time together. Even if I thought Ugarte was the best midfielder on earth, which I don't, you still need more time together for a team to gel and to get on the same page. Naturally, we also need a better keeper. We also probably need a better center, at least one more center back. In addition, even if I thought midfield wasn't a problem, and that's not what I've said, then we would still need those things probably to compete. We might need a little, we need some of these depth players to work out too in the attack. But yeah. So that's on that. On the midfield front, I know I mentioned some young names. United are looking at young players, and I'm fairly sure they've looked at Frendrup and Buwadi, at least in a sense, looked at them. And I know that Baliba is somebody firmly on the radar for the long term. So then there's just others I'm keeping an eye on that I think they might look at. So yeah, we'll look at that. Again, on the striker, just want to make clear what I've heard as of today. Okay, on Sesko and on the Hojlund situation, just to clarify here, as of now, we believe strongly that Sesko will come to United. The only concern at all is agreeing a deal with Leipzig. That there's a small chance they price us out. They make it hard for us to get a deal done there. That's a small chance. Okay. But that's the only, that's more a concern than specifically him choosing Newcastle at this stage. United believe he's coming. They intend to speak with Rasmus Hojlund about leaving and about his position in the club when this deal is done. They are planning to do that. That's the plan. Okay. Very likely it would be, again, not a swap, as I've said. Not a swap, but separate deals is my understanding. Again, I said all this at the start of the video, so I'm just repeating here that they've spoken with Leipzig about Hojlund as in the talks today as well, because of course there could be a good deal that works for everybody. In this case, if Leipzig want Rasmus, there could be a, we'll sell him to you for 30. You give us this deal at the right price on this, and that could work for everybody. So yeah, we will see what happens on that. There are other clubs interested in Rasmus at his present price point, or at this 30 million price. Not just Leipzig, but there are others. So it would be expected that he could go. Is this going to be? Well, it's hard to trust DiMarzio, after the whole Sancho saga. But there you have it. I was literally just saying there are other clubs interested in him at this price. DiMarzio says Hojlund is still on AC Milan's wish list if United decide to open up a loan deal with options to buy. Okay, fine. Hard to trust you after the Sancho stuff, though. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. Hard to trust them now. Regardless, there are other clubs that are interested. That's my own info. I also do believe that United would be open to a loan and obligation should push come to shove once the Sesko thing is done. My only concern at the moment on Sesko is that Newcastle have not pulled out of the deal yet. There's one thing I cannot get. Ineos is backing Ruben this window big time, but Jim is going to get a protest. I think it's incredibly misguided. The response to it, by the way, from people online has been really poor. Now, that's online fans. They don't speak for the locals. But the response has looked pretty bad to that whole thing. I mean, I'm, I guess, comparing Sir Jim to a referencing, which I was not aware of, but obviously people in the UK know, but referencing Sir Jim to a guy who was apparently a pedophile is probably not something that people weren't totally stoked about. But yeah, I mean, in addition, yeah, Jimmy Seville, right? But in addition, like, it feels as though the aims of the protest are mostly just these are our opinions and we're protesting because we don't like some of the things that you're doing. It feels a bit off. Like, my main issue with the protest is like, with some of the protesters, I think they've gotten misguided into just like, I disagree with this, versus the owners are actually doing something wrong that's worthy of protest. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I don't trust obligation after Jadon Sancho to Chelsea.
I hear you, but I really want to make clear, Jason, again, really clearly, that had everything to do with Sancho not agreeing terms with Chelsea. Like, it's fine. People share their voice. It's all good. But like, what are we protesting? Like if you're protesting the austerity moves and the sackings and stuff, like, I can understand not liking it. I don't think that anybody's happy about it. They were also completely necessary. And the whole getting in bed with the Glazers and being, I don't know, man. I think you've lost it when you start doing that stuff. I think you've just lost. I think you've just lost it. There are things that make sense, but the communication isn't it. Like, if it was like, yeah, we're worried about the ticket prices, these types of things, fine. I didn't say there's nothing to be upset about. That's not what I said at all. I'm saying that the communication itself is what they're talking about is probably lacking in understanding of the situation. That's all. Like, just saying, when you get into this thing about like getting into bed with the Glazers and stuff like that, like, you go to games every day. You're funding the Glazers. You've been giving them money all along. Like, working, getting a foot in the door and doing what you can to fix the club is not the same things. You know what I mean? I don't know. I just don't see it that way. I don't see why protest the people that are actually doing some of the first good that has been done at United in a long time, that are trying to do the right things for the club. I don't get that aspect of it. I get the disagreements, but like I said before, I was talking about that this morning. There is a fans advisory board. They have been effective in their communication with the owners. They have been effective in their communication with Ineos and Sir Jim. They have been able to affect change from within by cooperating and working with the club and having open and logical lines of communication with the club. They haven't been shut down. They haven't been shut out. They haven't been told they're not allowed to disagree with things. And they share a very wide plethora of opinions. You know, I think those people are making more change and having more of a positive impact than others, you know, so far as I've heard. I don't think that Ineos have been perfect in any respect. I think they've made a lot of mistakes. But at the same time, like, protesting them doesn't make sense to me. Like, they haven't done anything that's been worthy of a protest. Like, at all. Not even a slight bit, you know. That's all. Yeah, they've explained, they've come out publicly, they've talked, they've done the things that people wanted. And I think that for the most part, people protesting just don't like them. I guess that's all, you know. It is what it is. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. That's all. That's it, you know. I get the, you know, protesting the Glazers because the root of all the problem is the Glazers on that. You know, the root of it all is the Glazers. That's what's underneath kind of all of that. And the debt and things like that. But that's fully on the Glazers, you know what I mean? So that's that. That's how I feel about it. And I hope that they can get him out. There's more than 21 likes on the stream. I might be behind. We're at 350. While you're here, please do like the video. It does help me a lot. There's been almost 2,000, 1,500 and 1,800 people. Here we can get more likes than that. So please do like the stream. Local fans collectively across clubs have a right to be angry about raising ticket prices. They totally do. They totally do. But here's what I'm saying, all right? This is all I'm getting at. If the club is in financial ruin, if the club is losing money like crazy, you have two choices. Raise revenue, cut costs. Reality is you have to do both of those things. If you're going to protest them cutting costs and protesting them raising revenues, then there's no route for the club to be successful and to fix itself financially. You get what I'm saying? Like, somewhere the balance sheet has to make sense. You know what I mean? Somewhere the balance sheet has to make sense. Something has to balance. I know economics. I know business. I am good at business, okay? I do understand the financials of a business. When a business is losing a ton of money, somehow you're going to have to cut costs and raise revenues. The only real way to raise revenues at a football club is to be more successful. To be more successful in football, you have to be able to spend money. To be able to spend money, you're going to have to cut costs in order to reinvest the money saved on spending to make the club more successful, to raise revenues. I don't know what else you can do about it, to be quite honest. That is the root of it. Yeah, that's the root of the entire decision-making process. We need to spend money to be successful. We need to buy players to be successful. we can't do that without having any money available. In order to get money available, we need to raise revenue and cut costs. These costs have names and surnames. I hear you. That sucks. What happens if the whole club, like, I hear you. It sucks. But United were a bloated mess of overemployment. It's not the people who were hired's fault. It's not the people who were sacked's fault or who were made redundant's fault. It isn't. They're a consequence of the Glazers' ownership and the Glazers into the situation. They should never have been hired in the first place. 400 plus people should never have been hired in the first place. They did get good redundancy packages too, by the way. They were actually incredibly fair about the redundancy packages from what I know as well. But yeah, it sucks. It sucks. It's really rough. It is really rough. But we've reduced the staff by 400 people, and yet the whole club is still functioning as normal. So clearly, we didn't need those 400 people for the football club to run. Unfortunate thing to say, but that's the truth. If you can let go of 400 people and your business still runs, your football club still runs, and everything's still getting done, then you didn't need those 400 people. So, unfortunately, that's the problem. Yeah, that sucks. We did employ the most people in the league, and now it's back to about a normal expected number. Still near top of the league, but probably not too many people. So yeah, I mean it sucks. It does suck, but there was always going to be consequences of the Glazers' ownership for a long time. You know what I mean? Like there was always going to be consequences for what happened. We spent the money to pay those staff on Casemiro and Anthony. Sorry, but that's the truth. And that sunk us into such a hole that we couldn't get out of it. It sucks. It sucks for the individuals. It sucks for the people involved. It really does. And there's things that I think fans certainly should keep talking, should keep disagreeing with, should keep raising their voice about. You know what I mean? For sure, 100%. And they should do that. Surely Manchester United
won't accept 30 meters for Garnacho.
30. I don't know. There's some report, right, that Wistonley's wants to get him for around 30 million pounds. I don't know, man. Maybe it'll be for 40. I think we'll get it for 40. I think 40 is the most we're going to get from him. I've maintained that pretty much for months, that I think 40 is all we're going to get out of him. Sancho wages per week versus that. Yeah, I know. Yeah, Ineos have made plenty of mistakes. I'm not expecting them to be perfect, but intentions matter. You know what I mean? Intentions matter. I think intentions do matter. Why somebody's doing something. Yeah, it's daytime for me. It's almost 4, but I guess we're probably not going to get anything else. Yeah. Yeah, I think that's going to be it, isn't it? I think we're going to reach our end. I did a summary about 5 minutes ago. I'm going to do it again. I'm going to do it again right now. Just a summary of the situation as I understand it today, at this moment in time. And then I'm probably going to end it because we're not going to get anything. Worries me a little bit worries me a little bit. Okay, it does worry me a little that it's not done yet. But here's again kind of where it stands as I started the video with, and as I understand it as of now, or at least maybe not as of now, because I'm not like messaging someone like right this second. I'm waiting like everybody else is for the next update. United's strong belief is that Benjamin Sesko prefers them. He did speak with both clubs yesterday, encourage them to make a bid, but United believe he does prefer them and has all along. It's always been as I've heard it, that if it was equal, he would choose United. United are in talks with Leipzig. The only danger in this deal is if we get priced out, is if they raise the price too high, or Newcastle throw a crazy bid in, 110 million, just to blow us out of the water, and we can't do anything about it. Those are the only concerns and things like that in there. United maintain talks with Leipzig right now over the deal to agree on a fee and a package that works. It's not a sure thing on that, but it seems like we're in the ballpark as long as we don't get priced out and bombed out. United, as I understand it, have also spoken with Leipzig about Rasmus Hojlund again as a part of this, not to include him in the deal, but the potential. Obviously, it's worth discussing at the same time that he would go, that he could go the other way, that they'd be interested in him. The intention is, if Sesko deal gets done to United as expected and as we believe will happen now, that they're going to have this discussion with Rasmus about his future, to talk about what it lies in, about where he should go and could he go, and have the discussion that hasn't happened yet about he probably should get a move somewhere else. It is believed to be open to it should that discussion happen, and they tell him that he's not in the plans moving forward. Hasn't happened yet, expected to should the Sesko deal go through. So that's where we're at, and there are potentially more clubs than Leipzig interested in Rasmus Hojlund at the price of £30 million, or potentially some sort of loan obligation type of deal. But there are more clubs interested, so that's one to follow. If and when this gets done and we have that conversation with Rasmus, then I think that'll move forward a little bit more. Following that, United probably do need to raise some money now, actually, in order to spend a bit more. I don't think we have the money to do some huge midfielder. There are players that United have looked at, but it's still a complete unknown as to who they'll go for in the midfield this summer if we can. Keeping an eye on goalkeeper, because we're probably not getting it this summer, but we're still looking at it.
Know if any progress on Vivel's list of young targets?
How's the Sesko fund? It seems the Sesko fund is good. Seems we're set on the Sesko fund. We've got the money. I don't know of any other progress on list of young targets, but hopefully he's got an idea in the midfield that we could bring in too, to add an extra name there, because we do want and need one. On the goalkeeper front, as I said, we've made contact with Donnaruma's people, just keeping tabs. So we'll see if something becomes possible late in the window, or if it's something we move into in January or in summer. Okay, that's it. That's what we've got. Let's see what happens now. I've been live for 3.5 hours today. Way too much time, starting from 7 in the morning, ending and coming back. Let's see what happens. I'm personally just ever so slightly nervous, just in the fact that it hasn't happened yet. We haven't heard Newcastle pulled out yet. It's been silent in too many fronts. United are confident, though. Let's see what the night brings. I'm guessing it's going to be another 5 a.m. call from Owen. 7 a.m., something like that from United View, asking for my opinion and my take. I'm going to ask him next time. I'll run down to my office at home and get on live with him. Just next time he does that, I'll tell him to just invite me, and I'll come join him for a chat in the morning. But that's it. Time to go. Have a good one, everyone. I'll see you later. Hopefully we get some news before it's too late. Hopefully we get news. I would like it to be not when I'm asleep, but it probably will be. That's all. Thanks for hanging out with me today, guys. I always appreciate you so much. Throw a like on the stream on the way out. Make sure we get to 500. I'm sure we can. It means a lot. Thank you very much. Have a good rest of your evening. Hopefully tomorrow is the Here We Go, the Bomba, the exclusive, the done. Then we can talk about that. I've got a Sesko video analysis ready to go. As soon as it happens, I just don't want to curse it by doing it early. I've got a few other things to do, a couple cool